Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to the Operation Freedom Health and Wellness series with the top naturopathic physician in our country, if not the world, Dr. Peter Gladden. This is a series that big pharma, big medicine, big insurance, big government, they don't want you to view. They don't want you to know the content that we present. Why? Because the content we present is about empowering you. So you do not have to rely on the medical industrial complex, which, I don't think this is an overstatement, has failed you. And if the past 4 years don't convince you of that, I don't know what will. Today's topic is going to be on your ticker, the heart.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about how to keep your heart beating. Now, beating, when I say beating, we're going to spell it two different ways. And we'll talk about why two different ways. B-E-A-T-I-N-G and B-E-E-T-I-N-G. Now, I mentioned Dr. Peter Gladden. Pete is a naturopathic physician. As I mentioned, one of the top in our country, if not the world. In addition, he's a phenomenal researcher and a phenomenal author. His 2 books should be the foundation of your medical library. They are of ours. Everybody is sick, and I know why. An attempt to cure with holistic medicine. By the way, Pete's books were recently banned on, there you go, on good old Amazon. Imagine that. That's an op from Big Pharma, see, because they don't want you to know about this. So, where to get the books? drgladden.com, and he has a new website, leavingbigpharmabehind.com. Now, we have our website, operationfreedomhealth.com, newly renovated, based on suggestions that you, our viewers, have made. As opposed to a lot of docs who don't listen to their audience, their patients, Pete and I do. So we've modified the website to make it a bit easier to use and to get the resources. In the upper right-hand corner is a free video, The 12 Bad Foods, that Pete did. It's free. I encourage you to watch it. In addition, we now have sections, new sections, about finding the right supplements section for you. We have a wellness assessment that you can take. And we have a specific concern section about different packs. Oh, I have diabetes. What's good for me? I have heart troubles. What's good for me? What should I be looking at? We have that section. And then we have the product category section. I want to know more about the GI system and the nutritional side of the equation. This is what we've done to the website. I encourage you to go to operationfreedomhealth.com. I encourage you to go to drgladden.com. I encourage you to get the books, and I encourage you to go to leavebigpharmabehind.com. It's my honor to welcome back Dr. Peter Gladden. Pete, welcome back.
David, you're doing something right when your books are banned.
Yeah, that's true, right? Oh, no.
That's the world that we live in. It's nuts.
Well, your books are banned. I'm banned off of Twitter.
Hello.
Suppressed on YouTube and Rumble.
Hello.
That's what happens, Pete.
Yeah, Elon Musk isn't all he's stacked up to be. I don't think Bongino is either, quite frankly.
This is politically incorrect, I guess, but I agree with you. I think if you're going to have any kind of presence on a major TV show, you have any kind of presence in syndicated radio, you have any kind of presence in big business. Elon Musk has received billions of dollars from the United States government in taxpayer subsidies. Anytime you're in that position, you are at a minimum a limited hangout operation, and at a minimum are controlled opposition. And I understand that's politically incorrect, but I believe that's the case, and that's my experience over the past almost 40 years of wallowing in the deep state swamp. It's more like a septic tank in D.C.
So Bongino was in the Secret Service, wasn't he?
Yeah. So he knew a lot of things on the inside, right?
Yeah.
And I understand there's certain things he can't talk about. But
well, don't they say that once you're in the Secret Service, you're always in the Secret Service?
Well, yeah, and same with CIA, right? Once CIA, always CIA. So you look at like the Buck Sextons of the world that took over half of Russia's audience. Sexton is and no such thing as former, a CIA analyst.
Yeah.
Right? And then the other half of his audience is Bongino. And Bongino does some good stuff, but again, you know, he tells a part of the story, but not all the story, right? And that's the hallmark of controlled opposition. Right. Elon Musk. You mentioned Elon Musk. He's now backing somebody's lawsuit against Disney who was unjustifiably targeted for her position, right? And her limiting her free speech. Well, okay, Elon. You're helping fund her lawsuit. Are you going to fund my lawsuit against you, Elon, for throwing me off Twitter?
Yeah.
Because all I said on January 8th, and I got to be careful what I say here, January 8th, 2021, this is the freedom-stripping virus that adversely affected the 2020 election.
Yep.
Right. And that got me immediately bounced, and still to this day. And so, you know, there's all this talk about, oh, we care, oh, we're all about freedom, when in fact, maybe not so much. So let's get on with the beating. Let's get on with the B. B-E-A-T and B-E-E-T-I-N-G. Educate us, Pete.
Well, there's a lot to unpack here, and you know, part of the stuff that I do in the public forum is education and medical myth busting, because I'm going to say more than half, I don't know a specific number, but it's more than half of what we have been taught about human anatomy, biology, physiology, just in like high school and college is just wrong. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. Cellular anatomy is completely wrong. For example, the heart does not have the contractile ability. It does not have the muscular strength to pump blood all the way through the body and back to the heart. It does not have the muscular contractile force, ability, power, strength necessary to pump blood all the way out and all the way back. It can't do it. So, and that was discovered by a Russian physiologist a few years ago. So it's looking like more and more the heart is a valve that just tells the blood where to go, right? We're going to accept blood from the lungs. We're going to shoot blood out to the portal system. We're going to accept blood back from the lungs. We're going to shoot blood out to the rest of the body. It's like a traffic cop. Tells the blood where to go. So there have to be other mechanisms that help the heart to pump blood, and I believe that those mechanisms are the lungs and this really interesting thing called the fourth phase of water, which is breaking news in the scientific community. We think of water as having a solid, a liquid, and a gaseous state, but there's a fourth phase of water, which is between liquid and a gas. And the fourth phase of water is motile. The fourth phase of water moves of its own accord. Don't know what the mechanism is. And ostensibly, it's also the reason, and this is like, you know, this from the Department of Common Sense. How on earth does water at the bottom of a redwood tree, in the dirt, in the roots, get all the way to the top of the redwood tree? Or even just a tree in your backyard? Oh, it's osmosis? No, it's not. Because after like 15 feet, gravity, the force of gravity, prevents it from going any further. So how does the water get all the way up there? How does that happen? Well, we think it's because the water is in the fourth phase of water, and the fourth phase of water is motile. It moves itself, which is really, really interesting. But I digress. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because it is more and more and more and more apparent to me that what we think we know about anatomy and physiology is really less than half of the whole picture. So when we start talking about, well, what can I do to make the heart healthier? We have to understand that this is inside of that gestalt where we don't know what we don't know. We know something, and we know that we don't know this, but so there is a little bit of a degree of theoretical stuff going on here. However, The strength of my medicine and the medicine that my colleagues are trained in throughout the centuries is that our medicine is based upon an understanding of natural law. Mm-hmm. And natural law doesn't change. You know, it's like gravity. Gravity exists whether you believe in it or not, right? Mm-hmm. 2 + 2 in base 10 mathematics always equals 4. It always has and it always will, whether you believe in it or not. So there are laws which are inviolate. And naturopathic medicine is built upon natural law, which is one of the reasons it's called naturopathic medicine, because it's natural law. So here's what we know about the heart according to natural law, even though we don't know everything about the physiology and the anatomy of the heart, because nobody does. Mm-hmm. All right? Mm-hmm. We know that your heart wants to beat normally. We know that. Mm-hmm. Your body wants to have a healthy heartbeat. We know that in order for your body to make anything happen, it needs 90 essential nutrients. Mm-hmm. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 aminos, and 2 fatty acids. It needs those things. If it doesn't have those things, something in the body is going to start to get funky. Mm-hmm. And that's a medical term, by the way. And because everything is connected, when one part of the body that starts to get funkified, it'll have a ripple effect everywhere else. So in order to optimize cardiovascular function, mm-hmm. the first thing that you must do, and this is mandatory, and you must do it before you do anything else, is give the body all 90 essential nutrients, because that's what it needs. This isn't rocket science. Mm-hmm. This is straightforward, logical extrapolation. This is how we do that. This is called the Healthy Foundation Pack. Mm-hmm. And this combination of 4 nutraceuticals gives the body everything that it needs in recipes that it can actually absorb. And this is the most effective nutritional supplement. Medical nutrition is what I've coined it, because that's what it is, that I've seen in 35 years of clinical work as a naturopathic doctor whose job it is to provide medical nutrition. Mm-hmm. I've had access to supplements made by companies you haven't even heard of, because you can only get them if you're, well, you might have heard of them, but most people haven't. Mm-hmm. You can't get them unless you're a doctor. Mm-hmm. And of everything that I've seen in 3 decades, this is the best. I mean, somebody's got to be number one.
Right.
Somebody's got to win the gold, mm-hmm. right?
Right.
Somebody's got to be stronger than the next fellow. Well, so this is number one right here, period. So this is what we do initially. We do the Healthy Foundation Pack, which gives the body 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids, period. And that's the best place to start. Number 2, we stop eating food that's gumming up the works. Mm-hmm. So we eliminate the 12 bad foods. Just eliminating the 12 bad foods is going to reduce a significant amount of stress to the heart. So believe me, a significant amount of stress to the heart. If all you did was stop eating fried food, that's all that you did. You didn't do this. You didn't do anything else. All you did was you completely stop eating anything that's cooked in oil. You would add probably 5 years to your life just from doing that. And most of that would be because of the stress reduction to the heart. Mm-hmm. So diet's a big deal. This is more of a big deal, but diet comes number 2. Now, number 3, there are 2 other supplements that we add to this. If your heart is suffering with something, you've been diagnosed with some cardiovascular thing, whatever, the heart needs a little more support than just will be afforded to it by the foundation. Okay. There's 2 things that we do in this regard. Number 1, it's a product made by the Good Herbs Company. It's called the Good Herbs Heart Support. Mm-hmm. And G, I wonder what that does. It's a combination of 4 botanical medicines, each of which has a different method of action in its supporting the cardiovascular system. A lot of people recently have been showing up with atrial fibrillation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, arrhythmias. Mm-hmm.
And arrhythmias of the heart, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that you can do in order to help that is to take a botanical medicine into your system called motherwort. Motherwort is in the Good Herbs Heart Support. Another thing that you can do in order to support the blood flow in the heart and the cardiac muscle itself is a botanical medicine called Crataegus oxycantha, hawthornberry, that is also in the Good Herbs Heart Support. So there's two other things that are in the Good Herbs Heart Support that do different things to the heart. But generally speaking, this is what you want to do. So we give botanical medicine made from nature, right? God-made herbs, man-made drugs. Who do you trust? So we do the botanical medicine to support the heart on top of the foundation and the elimination of the 12 bad foods. Now there's icing on this cake of cardiac greatness. The icing on this cake is a supplement made from beetroot, concentrated beetroot. You know, the red beets that everybody hates to eat unless you're Russian and you love borscht.
Yeah, right.
It's a stimulator, a donor of an element called nitric oxide. And when the body produces nitric oxide, blood vessels that are in the body dilate. Why is this a good idea? Because the body knows how to fix itself. The body wants to fix itself. The body's trying to fix itself. The body needs nutrients. The body uses the blood to transport the nutrients that different tissues of the body need, not only to fix themselves, but just to maintain their structure and function. So by increasing blood flow anywhere to the body is a really smart idea, but only if you're providing the body at the same time with the nutrients that it needs, right? Because you don't want to have a truck going down the road, a 14-wheeler, with nothing in the trailer. You don't want to have an empty trailer. So this gives the body the stuff that it needs. The heart support gives the body the stuff that it needs. And the cardio beats allows it to be much more efficiently transported to the parts of the body that need it. And also, the nitric oxide has a positive action on the vasculature of the heart itself. So you kind of get a 2-for-1 there. So this is what we do. And also, if you have ever been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation, where you get rapid heartbeat and then it slows down and then it beats and it slows down and then it's all over the place, your medical doctor will want to go into your heart and burn the nerves in the heart.
It's called an ablation.
Seems a little archaic to me because it is. Most of the time when people have atrial fibrillation, the heart is fine. The problem is in the back. Because your brain in the back of your head coalesces into your spinal cord. The spinal cord goes all the way down your back into your butt. And all of the nerves that go to everywhere in the body that make everything in the body work come out of the spinal cord. And the spinal cord is protected by your backbone, by the vertebrae in your backbone, right? Here's your backbone. These little black things are called intervertebral discs. The white stuff is the vertebrae, the individual bones in your back, segments in your back. So the nerves that exit the spinal cord come out between the vertebrae, and that's why the disc is there, to cushion the nerve as it comes out of your back. It's like a pillow, right? So if the cushion needs to be this thick, and I'm exaggerating for teaching purposes, if the intervertebral disc needs to be this thick, and that's in its healthy state, but it's only this thick, because you have degenerative disc disease, it's not going to be able to cushion that nerve. So if it just so happens to be the disc, which is in the part of the spine where the nerves come out that go to the heart, you sneeze, you cough, you carry your backpack on your shoulder, you carry your grandchild on your shoulder, you turn around too quickly in the car, you do something that stresses that particular part of your anatomy, It's going to tweak the nerve that goes to the heart, and it's got to cause a funky heartbeat. So the first thing to consider if you have atrial fibrillation is that your heart is fine. It's a problem with your spine, and specifically with the discs that are between your vertebrae. So two things to do in this regard if you have atrial fibrillation. Number one, if you're having an atrial fibrillation episode, you get a Ziploc bag, you put crushed ice in it, you duct tape it to the back of a chair. You take your shirt off and you sit back against the ice so that the ice is right directly behind the heart in your back. You stay there for 10 minutes. You get up for 10 minutes, you go back for 10 minutes, you get up for 10 minutes, you go back for 10 minutes, you get up for 10 minutes, you go back for 10 minutes. That should effectively soothe the inflammation to the nerve caused by the degenerative disc tweak. Usually people that have AFib, if they do that, and everybody's got, the smartwatches now, they can actually see.
Yeah.
Your heart will start beating normally within 60 minutes. So, number one. Number two, you should go to a chiropractor, a good chiropractor, and you should have the chiropractor assess that part of your back, the middle of your back, the thoracic vertebrae, where the nerves exit to go to the heart, because guaranteed there's something there that needs to be put back into place. And I'm telling you, a good chiropractor is worth their weight in gold. Hard finding a good chiropractor, just like it's hard finding a good anything these days.
Yeah, true.
But nonetheless, this is the rationale. Now, all of this makes a lot of sense, right?
It does.
Kind of, sort of should make sense. Which begs the question, well, why weren't you taught this in high school? And I'll tell you why you weren't taught it in high school.
There's any money in it.
Yeah, and because a patient cured is a customer loss.
Right.
The pharmaceutical industry is not in the business of making you healthy.
Nope.
They are in the business of managing your condition. So my colleagues and I are in the business of curing things, which is why I named my banned book Attempt to Cure. And you think that this is what your doctor is trained in, but they're not.
No.
They're not. I mean, they're trained in managing. And look, thank God for military field medicine. Thank God for insulin. Thank God for surgery when it's necessary, which is what Dr. Dave Janda used to do. One of the best in the profession at it, by the way. Sometimes you need that. But for most of the things that most people go to the doctor for, most of the time, you don't need that.
Nope.
Well, you need to attempt to cure the condition, but you don't know how to do that because nobody's ever stood up and waved a flag on a hill and said, look, come over here, try this.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And that's what we do. And that's why you need to become a subscriber to my website. That's why you need to get the Healthy Foundation Pack. That's why you need to learn how to do this, because if you are waiting for this to change from the top down, you're going to be waiting a long, long, long time.
Websites, operationfreedomhealth.com. Full disclosure, purchase of the products does support this platform, so we can continue to provide this, I believe, and Pete believes, very worthwhile information that you'll get from no other source. In addition, the websites Dr. Gladden, GLIDDEN.com, and LeaveBigPharmaBehind.com. Pete, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. I'd like to thank you folks for joining us today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.